Hello, and thank you for tuning into this podcast hosted by Success Gyan. My name is Attram, and it's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for tuning in, listening in, watching from wherever you are. And for those who don't know me, for the past 17 years or so, I've been training and coaching hundreds of thousands of people around the world to grow their wealth as well as grow their business. And today I have the absolute pleasure to be talking to you about the science of getting rich. That's the subject of today's podcast. So thank you for tuning in again. And the reason why this is important is this. Many years ago, before I became a multimillionaire, many years ago, I was in debt, over $100,000 in debt, struggling, trying to figure out how I got here, what mistakes I made, how do I change the situation around. And I remember at the time we had one child, and my wife was now pregnant with our second child. And a few short years had gone by where I'd been working so hard trying to make my small business work, and it was not working. I was losing money, business partners had cheated on me, and things were not working. And for one reason or another, with this new child coming on board, with my wife pregnant, with me working 90 hours a week, 100 hours a week, trying to get the business to work and wasn't working, I needed help. And I went through this breakdown and suddenly had this realization that if my wealth, my money, my business is to change, then guess what? I have to change. And so I went on a journey of self-discovery to understand how does all this really work? How does someone become rich? How does someone have a better business? How does someone have a better life? And one of the principles I learned was the principle of energy. And if you know science, really relies on energy. There's a big emphasis on energy. And that's the same when it comes to money or your business or yourself. And so the science of getting rich, what I want to be talking about is really how do we then incorporate this into our life or become rich or wealthy? Energy. And everything is one thing, and everything is energy. So, what I want to talk about is 8 laws of money, 8 laws of becoming rich. And these are universal laws. When I say universal laws, you can embrace that with science as well. Number one, we have to understand when it comes to energy, energy moves in waves and vibrations. And so, by that, what I mean is this. One of the key laws that I learned was the law of vibration. In other words, we are resonating at various frequencies. And those frequencies also attract what we are looking for or not looking for. So if you are a person of low vibration, which I was at the time, when I say low vibration, I'm talking about I wasn't a bad person, but the way I thought and the way I did things was that of a low vibration person. You know, negativity and gossiping and just being totally not really positive will keep you stuck in a certain way. So the law of vibration is critical. That follows with the second law, which is a law of attraction. And the law of attraction, if you've ever read a book or watched a video called The Secret, talks a lot about that. And the law of attraction, it says we are like magnets, like magnets. And so you will attract the things that you are supposed to attract. So the things you think about most of the time, the thoughts you have, the habits you have, the way you behave, the way you think will attract what it is you are thinking. So if you are thinking, I want to be rich, I value being rich, I want to be wealthy, I value wealthy people, I respect them, I respect money, guess what? You are going to now attract that as well. And the other side of it, the law of attraction says if you keep thinking and behaving that I'm poor, I haven't got a lot of money, I'm broke, which was a lot of my tendency and my thoughts as well. That if you're thinking I'm broke, I'm struggling, you're going to attract more of that. That takes us to the law of resonance, number 3. And the law of resonance, very similar to the first two. That means we are resonating at certain frequencies and vibrations as well. And imagine two items resonating. Eventually, if they're resonating at the same frequency, there is a match. So if your thoughts and your habits are in line with your ideal outcome. So you want to be rich. What does that mean to you? You want to be wealthy. What does that mean in terms of money? Now, can you now behave like that rich person? Can you now behave and think like that wealthy person? It all falls in line, and you will resonate. If you can behave that way, you can now resonate in that frequency. It takes me to the law of the fourth law, which is the law of sowing and reaping. That simply says, whatever you sow today, so shall you reap, as the Bible says. And all great books of that ilk says the same thing. So think about, if you want to be rich, the science of getting rich says, what you sow today, you will reap tomorrow, in terms of good things as well as bad things. So think about, what is the outcome you want from 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, listeners. And I don't know what you want. Only you know that. And when you think about so for me, in terms of this particular law, I realized if I wanted to be a millionaire, if I wanted financial freedom, then certainly what I sow today will then manifest later on. So I started to read books. I started to attend seminars. I started to implement and apply all the things that I was learning. And guess what? Within a few short years, my money situation changed totally. So bear that in mind as well. Takes us to the law of exchange. And the law of exchange, for those people watching and listening in, the law of exchange says this: you must behave in a reciprocal way. And the law of exchange says add value, give to other people. And guess what? If you do it the right way, they will then want to reciprocate or give you the other side. So let's talk about money exchange, for example. And the law of exchange doesn't always have to deal with money. So somebody is selling something, and they're selling an item worth whatever it is. Let's say it's 1,000, and they are selling that for 1,000. The law of exchange says this: do not cheat them. Do not be greedy. If the exchange is 1,000, then give them 1,000 of value. So if the item they're saying is 1,000, whatever it is, $1,000, 1,000 rupees, it doesn't make any. But then make sure you stay in exchange and give them that value. Do not shortchange them. Do not cheat them. Do not be greedy. Make it a win-win-win. It takes us to number 6 in the science of getting rich, which is the law of growth. And the law of growth is all about this. And my good friend Harv Ekar puts it in a very, very great way. And that's the way I want to share with you right now. And he says this: if you are not growing, you are automatically what? Dying. And so if you are not growing, you are dying. What does that mean? It means that if you imagine things in nature, if you imagine the plant or the tree, and if the plant is not nurtured, it's not watered, it's not looked after, guess what? It starts to wither. So if the same as us as human beings, if we are not growing, we are automatically what? Dying. And what I mean is this: law of growth says continue learning, grow yourself to your self-actualization on who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing with your life purposefully. That means read books, attend seminars, because Success Gyan hosts some amazing webinars, masterclasses, and seminars. Attend those. Grow yourself, and you will grow your wealth. Number 7 in the science of getting rich is the law of abundance. The law of abundance simply says that there is enough for everybody. There is enough for everybody. And now, one research shows that there is enough money in circulation around the world for everybody, every human being, 8 billion people around the world to be a millionaire. There's enough money. So the law of abundance says, do not live in scarcity, that there's not enough, But know that if you want to attract those riches, that money, then add value to other people. And by adding value to other people, you will then get, if that the exchange is money, then you'll get that money. Now, number 8 is the law of polarity. And the law of polarity says we live in a world that there are opposites or duality. There's rich, there's poor, there's in, there's out, there's darkness, there's lightness, there's night and there's day. Same as if you want to be rich, sometimes you can also be poor. There's two sides. So choose which side you want to be. The law of polarity with the law of vibration, attraction, and resonance will move you the right way. So Mac Attram, I want to say thank you for tuning into this podcast. I want to say thank you for Success Gyan putting it together. And I hope you enjoyed this session. Until we meet again. Mac Attram, bye for now.